Have you ever noticed that the strongest people are rarely the loudest? In a world obsessed with attention, approval, and constant noise, true mental strength often hides in silence. While most people react emotionally, seek validation, or crumble under pressure, a few develop something far more powerful: control over their own minds. Dark psychology teaches us that people can manipulate emotions, exploit insecurities, and use fear to influence others. But mentally strong individuals understand a deeper truth. The greatest battle is not against other people, but against their own impulses, doubts, and fears. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. And perhaps that's why truly strong people remain calm when others panic. In this video, you'll discover 7 signs that reveal whether you possess the rare qualities of a mentally strong mind. And the final sign is one that most people completely overlook. Most people don't reveal their true character when life is easy. They reveal it when everything starts falling apart. Anyone can appear confident when things are going their way. But what happens when you're criticized, betrayed, or faced with uncertainty? Do you panic, or do you remain calm? The ancient Stoics believed that pressure doesn't create character. It exposes it. And perhaps that's why the strongest people aren't those who react the fastest, but those who remain composed when everyone else loses control. Think about it. When a crisis hits, have you noticed how most people become emotional, make impulsive decisions, and say things they later regret? Pressure clouds judgment. Fear takes over. And that's exactly when mentally strong people become different. Because they understand a dangerous truth. Emotions are temporary, but the consequences of emotional decisions can last a lifetime. Imagine losing your job unexpectedly. Most people immediately fall into panic, anger, or self-pity. But a mentally strong person pauses. They ask, what can I control right now? Instead of wasting energy blaming the world, they focus on their next move. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. But here's a question few people ask themselves. When life puts you under pressure, who are you really? Are you someone who reacts emotionally, or someone who responds with clarity? Because anyone can stay calm when life is comfortable. But can you remain calm when everything around you is falling apart? And if you can, you may possess a level of mental strength that most people never develop. But the second sign is even more revealing. Because mentally strong people don't need something that most people spend their entire lives chasing. One of the most dangerous addictions in modern society isn't alcohol, money, or even power. It's approval, the need to be liked, the need to be praised, the need to feel accepted, and most people spend their entire lives trapped by it. Think about it. How many decisions are made not because they feel right, but because people are afraid of being judged? How many dreams are abandoned because someone feared criticism? Mentally strong people understand something that many never learn. If your happiness depends on the opinions of others, then your peace is in someone else's hands. And that's a dangerous place to live. Dark psychology teaches us that people can manipulate those who desperately seek approval. They know exactly how to use praise, guilt, and rejection to control behavior. But the moment you stop needing constant validation, you become much harder to influence. Imagine posting something online. Most people check their phones every few minutes, hoping for likes, comments, and approval from strangers. Their mood rises and falls based on notifications. But mentally strong people don't allow their self-worth to be determined by a screen, because they understand a powerful truth. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. And not everyone needs to. Seneca once said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." So ask yourself, who are you trying to impress? How many choices in your life are truly yours? And if nobody applauded you, would you still continue on your path? Because real confidence isn't needing everyone to believe in you. It's believing in yourself, even when nobody else does. And the next sign reveals something even more rare. Because mentally strong people stop fighting a battle that most people lose every single day. Most suffering doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from our desperate attempt to control what was never ours to control. People want to control the future. They want to control how others think. They want to control every outcome, every opinion, and every uncertainty. And when life refuses to obey, they become frustrated, anxious, and exhausted. But mentally strong people understand something that changes everything. Not every battle deserves to be fought, and not every problem can be solved by force. Dark psychology reveals that many people waste their lives trying to change others. They seek approval, argue endlessly, and become emotionally attached to things they cannot influence. In the end, they lose not because they are weak, but because they are fighting the wrong enemy. Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries ago. He knew that peace begins when you stop demanding control over things that were never yours. Imagine being betrayed by someone you trusted. Most people replay the situation in their minds for months, asking, "Why did they do this to me?" They lose sleep trying to change the past. But mentally strong people ask a different question. What can I do now? Because they know they cannot control another person's actions, but they can control their response. And that changes everything. So ask yourself, how much of your stress comes from things you can't actually control? How many nights have you wasted worrying about the opinions of others? How much peace have you sacrificed trying to force life to go according to your plans? Because true power isn't controlling the world around you. It's controlling the mind within you. And once you master that, very little can disturb your peace. But the next sign is where most people become uncomfortable. Because mentally strong people don't fear being alone. In fact, they discover something powerful in solitude that most people spend their lives running from. Most people are terrified of silence. Not because silence is painful, but because silence forces them to face themselves. That's why so many people constantly surround themselves with noise, social media, endless conversations, entertainment, and distractions. Anything to avoid being alone with their thoughts. But mentally strong people are different. They don't see solitude as loneliness. They see it as power. Dark psychology teaches us that a person who cannot be alone becomes emotionally dependent on others, and dependence makes people vulnerable to manipulation, toxic relationships, and the constant need for validation. But the moment you become comfortable in your own company, something changes. You stop chasing people, you stop fearing rejection, and you stop allowing loneliness to control your decisions. Think about Marcus Aurelius. Despite carrying the weight of an empire, he spent time in quiet reflection, writing thoughts that would later become timeless wisdom, because he understood a truth that many people never discover. Growth rarely happens in crowds. It happens in solitude. Imagine two people after a painful breakup. One immediately jumps into another relationship because they can't bear being alone. The other chooses to spend time understanding themselves, healing, and rebuilding their life. Months later, who do you think becomes stronger? Who truly learns from the experience? So ask yourself, when was the last time you sat alone without distractions? Do you enjoy your own company? Or do you need constant noise to escape your thoughts? Because if being alone scares you, perhaps what you're really afraid of is meeting yourself. And that's exactly why solitude is so powerful. Because in silence, you discover who you really are. And the next sign reveals something even more rare. Because mentally strong people possess a skill that can save them from endless conflict, regret, and emotional chaos. They don't react to every insult. One of the greatest forms of power is invisible. It's the ability to remain untouched by the opinions of others. Because the truth is, not every insult deserves a response. And not every battle deserves your energy. Yet most people spend their lives doing exactly the opposite. A stranger leaves a rude comment online. A coworker says something disrespectful. Someone questions their worth. And instantly, emotions take over. Anger rises. Ego takes control. And before they realize it, they've handed their peace to someone who never deserved it. But mentally strong people understand something that dark psychology has revealed for centuries. Some people insult you not because you're weak, but because they want a reaction. They feed on attention. They seek control. And the moment you react emotionally, they win. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Think about that. What if the greatest revenge isn't proving people wrong? What if it's refusing to let them disturb your peace? Imagine a coworker criticizing you unfairly in front of others. Most people would immediately defend themselves, argue, or carry that anger home for the rest of the day. But mentally strong people pause. They ask themselves, is this worth my peace? Will this matter a year from now? And often, the answer is no, because they understand a powerful truth. Not every opinion deserves access to your emotions. So ask yourself, how many times have you allowed someone else's words to ruin your entire day? How much energy have you wasted trying to defend yourself against people who already decided not to understand you? And who truly controls your emotions? You or everyone around you? Because maturity isn't winning every argument. It's knowing which arguments are too small for your peace. And the next sign separates dreamers from achievers. Because mentally strong people don't wait for motivation. They rely on discipline. Most people wait. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for motivation. And while they wait, years pass. Dreams fade. Opportunities disappear. Because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. And mentally strong people understand something that most people learn too late. Success was never built on motivation. It was built on discipline. Dark psychology reveals that the human mind naturally seeks comfort. It wants pleasure over pain, ease over effort, and instant gratification over long-term growth. That's why so many people quit. Not because they lack talent, but because they trust their feelings more than their commitments. Marcus Aurelius understood this battle well. He knew that every morning he would face resistance. Yet he reminded himself that he wasn't made merely for comfort, but for action. Think about it. Imagine two people with the same goal of getting fit. The first person works out only when they feel motivated. The second person works out whether they feel like it or not. A year later, who do you think transforms their life? Because discipline doesn't ask, "How do I feel today?" It asks, "What must be done?" And that's the difference between ordinary people and mentally strong people. They don't negotiate with excuses. They don't depend on moods. They understand that feelings are temporary, but habits shape destiny. So ask yourself, how many goals have you abandoned because you stopped feeling motivated? How many promises have you made to yourself only to break them? And if your emotions disappeared tomorrow, would your habits still carry you forward? Because real strength isn't doing what's easy. It's doing what's necessary, even when nobody is watching, even when you don't feel like it, even when progress seems invisible. And that brings us to the final sign, the one that separates those who stay trapped by fear from those who continue to grow. Because mentally strong people don't fear failure. Most people are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of what failure might say about them. They're afraid of looking foolish, of being judged, of proving their doubts right. And because of that fear, they never truly live. They play it safe. They avoid risks. And slowly, without realizing it, they trade growth for comfort. But mentally strong people understand something that changes everything. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Dark psychology teaches us that the ego hates being wrong. It craves certainty, perfection, and approval. That's why so many people quit after one rejection, one mistake, or one setback. They take failure personally, but mentally strong people don't. They take it seriously, but not personally. Think about Thomas Edison. Before inventing the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. Yet he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found thousands of ways that won't work." Imagine starting a business. After months of effort, it fails. Most people would see that as proof that they're not good enough. But mentally strong people ask a different question. What is this experience trying to teach me? Because every mistake contains a lesson. Every setback reveals a weakness. And every failure offers an opportunity to grow wiser. So ask yourself, how many dreams have you abandoned because you were afraid to fail? How many opportunities have you missed because you wanted guarantees? And what if the pain you're avoiding today is actually the path to the person you're meant to become? Because in the end, failure doesn't destroy people. Fear does. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't those who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. And perhaps that's the greatest sign of mental strength. Not perfection, not intelligence, not talent, but the courage to rise again every single time. Because life will test you, people will disappoint you, and circumstances will challenge you. But if you've recognized yourself in these 7 signs, then you may already possess something far more valuable than success. You possess the strength to endure. And in a world where most people are controlled by fear, emotions, and the opinions of others, that strength is rare, and it's dangerous. In a world obsessed with attention, instant gratification, and external validation, true mental strength has become increasingly rare. It's not found in being the loudest person in the room. It's not found in power, money, or status. And it's certainly not found in pretending to have everything figured out. Real strength is quieter than that. It's staying calm when life falls apart. It's refusing to let the opinions of others control your peace. It's accepting what you cannot change. Finding power in solitude. Choosing silence over unnecessary conflict. Remaining disciplined when motivation disappears. And rising again after every failure. Because the truth is, life will test everyone. You will lose people. You will face rejection. You will make mistakes. And there will be moments when nobody believes in you. But perhaps the greatest battle you'll ever fight is not against the world. It's against your own fears, doubts, and impulses. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And maybe that's why mentally strong people seem different. Not because they have easier lives, but because they've learned to master themselves. So before you leave, ask yourself this. Which of these 7 signs do you already possess? And which one do you need to develop the most? Because mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. One thought, one decision, and one difficult day at a time. If you found yourself somewhere in this video, leave a comment below and tell us which sign resonated with you the most. And remember this, the strongest minds are often the quietest, but never mistake silence for weakness. Because the people who have mastered themselves are often the most powerful people in the room, and they rarely need to prove it.